to season 2 of Barnabas.
Season 2. What's up, everybody?
Thanks for tuning in. We're really glad to be with y'all again. It's been a while. How long has it been, Rhett?
It's been over a year.
That doesn't even sound like a real thing. Over
what?
a year. I
know, that's crazy. We were making. It's just wild to see what's happened in this past year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure each of you have thought almost weekly, if not daily, where are they? What happened? And so something really crazy kind of happened in my life. I moved. I was living in West Texas, and then I moved to the Metroplex with a new job. So things got real turned up for me. I wasn't actually able to make it to the studio we were recording in. And so if you notice right now, we're not together. We're in two separate places. We've had time this past year to experiment and kind of work on some stuff, but we're really excited to be back.
Yeah, for sure. So where are you right now?
I am on the third floor of the church I work at.
Yeah.
I'm the youth minister at the Preston Road Church of Christ at the corner of Preston and University in Dallas, Texas.
Well, thank you so much for that very detailed explanation of where you are. So just to be fair, I am sitting in a makeshift studio in the north side of Fairmount Park Church of Christ. So in Midland, Texas. That's where I'm the youth minister.
And so we used to sit side by side and get to kind of crack jokes and kind of get to talk. Now we sit side by side electronically.
Yeah.
Or digitally. I don't know what the right word was for that.
Both. It takes electronics and digital technology to be able to do what we're doing. But
because of the interweb.
That's right. The interweb. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Where hours and hours of driving time, what used to would have taken weeks to travel by horse and buggy, we can now instantaneously communicate over little copper wires. So it's pretty.
Well, think about this. What if you couldn't afford a horse?
Yeah. What if you couldn't? That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't know where I was going, but I was like, man, horses are expensive.
Yes. Well, they probably back then they were like $20, which would be like $150,000 today. So I don't know.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. What
$20 could do?
I don't know if I have the conversion rate accurate, right now, but somewhere around there. So,
especially think like when you're a kid, $20 lasts you months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you become an adult and it doesn't even last you a lunch.
Yeah. Then it's like $100. You just throw it away. It's like no big deal. So, right.
I mean, 100, we're kind of getting up there. That's a little bit more of a bigger deal.
Yeah. Me too. So, well, I am glad to be back doing this. It has taken, like we said, over a year to figure out how to make this work. And not all of that was just sitting there like trying to crunch the numbers or anything like that. We both are busy and have lives. And so your life has changed a little bit. Is that something you're wanting to talk about right now? Or no?
Yeah, I moved from West Texas to... I don't even know what we're referring to.
No, that's not but we'll talk about it off camera later. So
I have no clue. Are you talking about the weight I put on?
No, I would never, ever.
I don't know what you're talking about then.
You're in a relationship now, and you used to not be.
I have a girlfriend, guys.
There you go.
How wild is that?
That is crazy. So, and I'm sorry if I brought that up and you weren't wanting to talk about it on camera. That's why I was going to give you an out right there, but you didn't let me get
every chance I get to talk about how awesome Emily is, I'm going to take it.
All right. Well, very good. Well, I did get to meet Emily a couple months ago, I guess at NCYM. We got to spend some time together, and she seems like a very wonderful young woman. So I'm really glad that y'all are together. I think she's great for you.
As the people from Boston say, she's wicked smart.
Wicked smart with the smart pack.
What? Are you trying to sound like Marky Mark?
No, I was trying to sound like John Krasinski. So I think I did pretty well. So
I don't know who John Krasinski is.
You don't know who John Krasinski is? Did you never watch The Office? Jim from The Office?
Oh, I know who Jim is.
Yeah, his real name is John Krasinski. So
no, his real name's Jim.
Well, I don't know about that, but so. You are in ministry. I'm in ministry. We're both doing ministry together, but far apart, right? So, what's going on in your ministry right now?
So right now we're in a season where we got just a lot going on, and we're getting ready for summer. Summer's always awesome and it's real busy, but we're kind of focusing towards that direction. However, a lot of what we're talking about in class, we kind of have two different tracks we're going on. Sunday mornings, we're actually going through the book of Mark chapter by chapter to kind of understand more fully what the gospel is and kind of how it's bits and pieces that come together to kind of form the whole narrative. And on Sunday nights, talking about the big one.
The big one.
Talking about dating.
Yeah?
We're talking about what dating looks like in high school and junior high and kind of how that relates to our walk with Christ and how there's a right way and a wrong way, basically, to kind of live in that world and then navigate and try to do that.
Yeah, that's interesting. We're about to start a series on dating too in our ministry, and so I'm really looking forward to that. I might change the wording there, and I know what you mean. Like there's a right way and a wrong way. I try to avoid right and wrong whenever I'm talking about our actions and things like that. And I just say there's wise choices that we can make and there's poor choices that we can make. And so we're looking at how to make wise choices that are gonna lead to positive outcomes in our dating relationship. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
You're exactly right, because we even talked about Solomon and how he was wise, and we even used wisdom as a track for how to make those decisions. So you're exactly right.
Well, very good. So I'm doing that too. Like I said, starting Sunday. We actually just got done though with a series on divorce. It was a 1-week series where we just talked about how divorce can really just tear up a family, and how, especially as a young person in the midst of that, where parents are separating and you feel like you're helpless and you don't really have much say in the decision, like how do you find peace amidst all the turmoil? And so which has kind of been interesting because I've never experienced that in my life. My parents are still married today, but my wife went through her family went through a divorce when she was in the 3rd grade, and even today, decades later, you can still feel the impact of those actions in her life and in the lives of our children and stuff like that. And so it can be something that causes so much pain and stress and turmoil that I think it's important to be able to find a way to find peace in the midst of that. So that's what we've been doing right now. Yeah,
I can see that's really important. That's a good one. Proud of you, JD.
Well, thank you very much. So I do what I can every once in a while.
You do what you can. Yeah. So we're working kind of in the same areas of life and in the same aspects of life, I guess. And I understand that divorce is on such a larger scale compared to this, but even further along in the series that I'm kind of doing, we're going to talk about how when we kind of come together, then we kind of break apart. That changes who we are because we've given something, and not just talking about material things, but we've given ourselves emotionally in a way when we commit to each other to be in a relationship like that. And when things break apart, that changes us because we've given something and now we don't have that, and how to regrow that and how to fill that, and originally how to become self-sustainable. Our lesson 1 was really about become who you want to be is more important than finding who you want to be with.
Yeah.
About building yourself and kind of knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you're looking for, and kind of how you're going to act in that situation. We jumped into small groups after that, and one of my high school boys opens his phone, and he has a full list of exactly what he's looking for in his bride.
Yeah, he's thought about that.
Yeah, and he said one of his top things that he said is an absolute deal breaker is if they choose to pancake over waffling. He said he can't get over that, and that's a deal breaker for him.
Well, that's a trainable skill, so I think hopefully it doesn't cut her loose too quickly on that one. So. Well, very good. Well, so you mentioned small groups. How does your group respond to your small groups? Do they love it, or do they kind of deal with it?
We kind of go back and forth between a few different ways, but our small groups are awesome.
Yeah.
They generate good conversation, and it kind of helps when we're talking. We go through these lessons and we're kind of, it's one thing to hear it, but it's another thing to put it into practice and be able to kind of talk about it. And it's one of those ways that we kind of create connections that kind of move back and forth. It's one of, like, when we're talking about it, when we're teaching, you can hear something, but when you're actually able to talk through it, you can see a path through everything that's kind of being said of how it affects you personally, not just the big picture, but what you are doing and how that affects everything kind of else.
Yeah. I love it. So we've been doing small groups on Wednesday nights and with our group, and I love being able to not just have the teens just sit and listen to a lesson, but be able to process it and talk about what that looks like in their own life and how that applies to them personally, to their families, to their situation in school or work or in the sports field or whatever it is they're doing, to be able to take those lessons into real life and put it into a real concrete practical thing that actually makes a difference, instead of just knowing something, like having that knowledge translate into action and change and transformation. I love it, and I'm always encouraged, because I have a lot of our teens that come up and ask them, what's your favorite thing we do in the ministry here, and a lot of them, I wouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them say small groups. Ever since we started small groups, I've seen a real change, and so it's been really good.
How do you split your groups up again?
So we do by age. So we have a junior high small group, and so here junior high is 7th and 8th grade, and then we have a freshman sophomore group, and then we have a junior and senior group. And I like that because when you move up from 8th grade to freshman, you get a new set of people to kind of interact with for a whole year, and then that kind of changes, but then you bring those same groups back, so you kind of have some repetition of relationships, but you get an opportunity to build new relationships each year. And so I think it's working really well.
So for this series, we're doing, and our groups are a little bit larger, we're doing high school and junior high, kind of for this series on dating. And so boys and girls are in the same groups together, and it's kind of interesting, even just to kind of see the differences. Like, I was in the junior high group this past week, and junior high boys talking about dating and junior high girls talk about dating. Vastly different. Different.
Sure.
Some of our boys were like, we don't even want to hang out with girls.
Yeah.
And some of our girls are already wanting to be in relationships, and it was just the dynamics there were awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's funny too. What I love is whenever you can see not just the difference between boys and girls or old and young, but even in the same age group, like there's some of our girls that are like boy crazy, like they want a boyfriend, and there's some of our girls like, that's gross, like I'm not even interested in that. So it's just fun to see how all those unique perspectives come together and help us to form who we are, and how we get to speak into each other's lives, and so it's pretty cool.
But it's cool to get to hear that from somebody else. It just gives you perspective on, even in those groups, even if you're in the same grade at the same school, it gives you perspective on kind of, what I've always been thinking is the only way to do it. There's kind of other ways, and there's kind of people who are in different stages, even though we're the same gender and we're the same age.
Yeah. Absolutely. And just being able to draw on all those different experiences and perspectives and learn to see things in a different way. Like it's awesome. That's why I do what I do. So, all right, Rhett, this is time for one of our new segments. Okay. And
all right.
And so there might be a little bit of a surprise in here, maybe not, because we've already talked about and planned what we were going to do, so you might already know. But
is this where we're going to hold our breath, so you can hold our breath the longest?
Yeah, go ahead, start. Okay, that's really boring, so I'm going to cut. No, but here's what I'm going to do. I have some headlines. All right, ripped straight from today's press. I'm going to leave one word out of these headlines, and I'm going to see if you can guess what we're talking about, okay? So Here we go. Headline number 1. Italy confirms 41 deaths from blank. Headline number 2. Brazil confirms its 4th blank case. That's headline number 2. And here's headline number 3. Nevada confirms its first case of blank. Ripped from today's headlines, what are we talking about, Rhett?
Ravenous packs of porcupines that are slowly taking over the under-earth, that are trying to overthrow society as we know it.
No, that's very, very, very wrong. We're talking about the coronavirus. So.
Oh, yeah. Coronavirus. Yeah. Hey, that's scary.
Are you scared of it?
I am. Yeah. And I think it all kind of started off as a joke, but I wanted to do some research on it to try to have information to kind of bug some people with. Yeah. And then I ended up kind of not enjoying it, not enjoying it at all.
Yeah.
And it's just like the big things that are happening because of it, I also don't enjoy. Like, did you know that they're considering canceling the 2020 Olympics?
Yeah, I heard that they're thinking about canceling that. And then I also heard that they have already canceled several big events. Like, I know there was an MMA fight that was going on. What's it called? What's the MMA thing?
Mixed martial arts.
Yes, but like the Ultimate Fighting or whatever. I can't remember the name.
Oh, Ultimate Fighting, the UFC?
UFC, yeah. There was a big UFC fight that was supposed to happen.
Big sports guy, huh?
Yep. I love sports. So. But they canceled.
You even said it. You even said, the Ultimate Fighting, what is it?
I couldn't remember the name.
The Ultimate Fighting Championship?
Yeah. But so this is interesting. They canceled that, and then have you heard that they're actually thinking about canceling the release of Mulan? Disney's coming out with Mulan, which is supposed to release, I think, this week. And they're thinking about pushing that back. They're thinking about pushing back the Fast and the Furious release because they don't want people out in that many numbers, all in the same space, being in close proximity to each other. And I just think I think it's probably wise and smart, but I think it's crazy that we're actually living in a time where people are having to take actions like that because there's this disease that's going around that's causing everyone to be a little bit afraid.
Yeah, well, it gets even bigger than that. March Madness, the big basketball tournament, they're considering only televising the games and not letting anybody come see them in person because that's gathering too many people together. Yeah. Do you know that in Iran, they released their prisoners?
No.
54,000 people were released, temporarily released from jail because they didn't want that many people clumped together.
That's pretty crazy. I had not heard that. I had heard about the March Madness, thinking about only televising, and I was just thinking, how bizarre would that be to have on TV a game of basketball going on, just completely empty stands?
Completely silent. Like that's.
Yeah. No crowds. Do you think I guess here's a question for you. You're a sports guy. You might know an answer for this. If they were to do that, do you think they would still play in a giant arena, or do you think they'd find a smaller, like a high school gym to go play in just to make it feel less cavernous?
Probably giant arenas because for March Madness, they actually make a new court for every place. And so it fits the specification of what they're trying to make it for. Gotcha. And so I don't know really if you can just a lot of the arenas, you can lift up the existing court and put that one down. You can't necessarily do that for a high school gym that's completely glued down. Yeah. Like American Airlines, where I live in Dallas, they can take piece by piece off and then make a hockey rink out of it where the Dallas Stars play, and then melt the ice, put the pieces back down. So it's already kind of fit for that size. They may try to do maybe some colleges. Some colleges, I think, have that capability, so they could get it down smaller. Yeah. But besides that, I think if they decide to do that, it's going to be awesome.
It'll be interesting.
You're going to hear like sneakers like cutting. You're going to hear coaches yelling.
Yeah, you're going to be able to hear all the things that the coaches normally you can't hear. So that would be interesting.
That'd be awesome.
Well, so let me ask you this. So with all this going on, let me read you these. I have some stats here I was going to read you too and get your thoughts on these. And then I have a question for you. So these are the latest numbers. Again, I printed these off maybe 2 hours ago. So by the time you're watching this, these numbers might have changed. But the coronavirus has killed more than 3,300 people as of right now. The vast majority of those people being in mainland China. And there are now more than 95,000 global cases of coronavirus all over the world. So, hearing those numbers, one, as a person of faith, what are your thoughts on that? how do we respond to that? What does that look like for us?
It looks like instead of big crackers in the communion trays, the little chiclets.
Yeah. What's funny? A funny thing that happened a couple of years ago. My wife grew up in this small town church in Grants, New Mexico, and we would go back there and visit from time to time. And most of her family has moved away, so we don't go back as often as we used to. But for years, we would go, and in their communion trays, instead of the crackers that you'd break off pieces of, they would have those little oyster crackers like you put in soup. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And it was just funny because at one point someone had put in a giant order for communion crackers, but they ordered the wrong thing. And so they had 20 years worth of, I don't know, 20 years might be an exaggeration, but they had years and years worth of these oyster crackers. And so instead of throwing them away or wasting them, they just used them until they were all gone. So, it was pretty funny.
That's a nice little snack. Those are a little bit bigger.
I know, yeah. It was a tasty treat, a little extra Jesus in our life that day. So, but that probably makes sense, using the pre-torn things like that's. It's funny how even the little things like that that it kind of creeps into. So, you personally, are you afraid of the coronavirus?
I am not super afraid, just because it really hasn't hit the U.S. yet. Yeah. We have confirmed cases where there's 6, 8, 10. We haven't seen it get up to thousands yet. And so I'm not too concerned about it just yet. Yeah. But I know it does affect a lot of people. And I think a lot of people are changing their spring break plans because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. And I'm kind of with you. I haven't seen, just because it seems at this point seems far away from me. It hasn't really impacted my day to day. But I have been thinking a lot about it because I've seen a lot of like panic posts on social media and things like that. And I understand that, but there's a part of me that thinks as people of faith, certainly take precautions, certainly avoid putting yourself in places where you're more susceptible, where you're putting yourself in foolish risk and stuff like that. But I think as people of faith, should we be as afraid of that, or should there be a part of us that, because of our trust in God to provide and to take care of us, is there any way that can overcome that fear, you think, for people?
I think they go hand in hand together. I think that we have a trust in God to lead us. I think that trust is also, or that leading us is also just making wise decisions. Washing your hands is probably a wise decision. Yeah,
I agree with that completely. So if you are going somewhere for spring break and you're going to be around a lot of people, be careful. So there's no harm in taking precautions, but don't let fear keep you from living your life either. And so I'd say keep being the person that God made you to be, and also be safe at the same time.
Yeah, but we also have something for those of you who aren't traveling over spring break.
Yes,
and we have come up with a list of things that we think it would be awesome to do if you're staying at home for spring break. Yeah. And so, J.E., hit us with your number one.
All right. So when you say number one, you actually mean number 10, correct?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
we'll work our way down.
Work our way up to number one. So number 10, write a song. And that might sound silly or inaccessible or difficult, but I love this idea because it's a way to engage with your creative side that I think God put creativity in all of us. And it doesn't have to be, Beethoven's Fifth or anything like that. It can just be something silly. But,
who?
Beethoven. He's a composer.
The dog?
Yeah. That's who I'm talking about, is the dog for sure.
The St. Bernard who goes and saves the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got the little barrel around his neck.
Yeah.
And everything. So yeah, just like that. But do something creative, and then I'll expand this to not just write a song, but write a story. Write a poem. Do something that engages your mind in actually creating something. And I think that's a great way to spend a little bit of time while we have this break from homework and school and all the things that usually take up so much time to just be creative and actually make something that might bless someone. So,
all right. So number 9, I have. Make yourself a pizza from scratch.
Nice.
I am not a baker. I'm not a cooker. I'm not a baker's man. I can't bake you a cake as fast as I can. But I think it'd be awesome to just have your parents, with their permission and help, make a pizza.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's probably within the realm of possibility to do.
Yeah.
And just make it all from scratch, except for pepperonis. I hear those are actually really hard to make. But whatever you're doing, make it from scratch. Get the dough out, and you got to knead it. Then you got to throw it up with parents' permission.
I think the word you're looking for is need, not mead, but
I said knead.
no, you didn't. But anyway.
Kneed. You got to knead it.
There you go. Also, I think making cheese from scratch might be difficult, but if you want to take that challenge on, go for it. So next one is one of my...
If any of you make any cheese and want to send it to us, I guarantee you we'll try it.
Oh, yeah. We'll eat it right here on the show. You got to send it to 2 places because we don't live near each other anymore. But let us know. We'll get you the addresses. So the next one that I have is probably one of my favorite ones from this list, and I plan on doing it often through spring break, and that is sleep in. So some people are probably morning people, and I don't understand how you got the way that you are. I have tried to make myself a morning person, and I can't do it. So I'm looking forward to not having to get up and take the kids to practice and to school, and then not having to be in the office at a certain time, and just being able to rest and sleep and relax. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, number 7 on our list is a movie marathon, or just binging television, whether that be Parks and Rec or whether that be The Office. I personally, if I'm going to do a movie marathon, I do Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. That's probably my favorite kind of set of movies. I know some of you are Harry Potter people. I've never seen one. Star Wars, have never seen one. Lord of the Rings, I think I've seen. I'm not real sure. But those are really popular things I hear. And I think it works out. There's 6 Star Wars, right?
There's 9 if you only
I was
include
close.
the main saga. But there's more if you include the side projects. But I can't believe you've never seen those movies. But yes, those are all great series to marathon and to cram in, especially when you have a week long. We did the Marvel movies. It's like 24 movies now that you have to watch from beginning to end, and it'll take all week long. So that's a good one though.
Yeah.
All right, another one. So it's funny, I'm getting all the ones that make me seem like I'm really lazy. So maybe there's something to that. But do nothing. Actually sit there and do nothing. I think so many times we try to entertain ourselves every second of every day, and maybe it's good to just sit there and be bored for a little bit. Actually let your brain wonder about things and let your brain entertain itself instead of always being fed with screens or with activity or anything like that. So just sit there and do nothing, stare at a wall for a little bit, maybe even take a nap. So I'm all about it.
So number 5, the opposite of that is stare at some screens, play some video games, have a game night. But also, if you don't want to stare at screens, my family, we love to play dominoes. Get a group of people together. Have you ever actually finished a game of Monopoly?
I have never finished a game of Monopoly. I can't remember the last time I actually started a game of Monopoly. So
you've got a whole week. Maybe you can finish a game of Monopoly. And so get some people together. Even if you don't have any board games or anything, play charades. Yeah. You can just act it out. Like there's a bunch of things to do and kind of have a game night with some people.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. So you were bragging about your girlfriend. I'm going to brag about my wife here for a second because my wife is awesome. And she started this new tradition a couple years ago on New Year's Eve. Instead of going to like a big New Year's Eve party, like we stay home with the family, and she comes up with all kinds of games that start like at 7 o'clock at night. We're going to be playing games each hour, and every hour there's a drawing and there's prizes and stuff like that. And it's awesome. And so we do video games, we do board games, we do charades, we do Pictionary, we do all those things. So it's a lot of fun. So have a game night. Another one. So this one is actually me not being lazy. So a change of pace. This is actually something I will not be doing this week because I'm.
So you say you're not going to be lazy, then you're like, but I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But at least I don't sound lazy because I'm suggesting that you do it. But that is to go out into nature and take a hike. And so I don't know where you live, if you live near mountains, live near a lake or anything like that, but just get outside, take a walk, and enjoy the beauty of nature. So I hear people like doing that. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. As long as maybe if the incline is not a very steep incline, then maybe I'm all about it. But other than that, I prefer to stay sedentary as much as possible.
Okay. Well, I'm going to one up your level of activity.
Okay.
I'm going to say go to a park, have a picnic.
Yeah.
So you can go to a park where you're in nature and just sit there. And you know what? Take a Frisbee. When was the last time you threw a Frisbee?
Me, personally?
Yes.
Probably, I don't know, within the last 365 days, I'm sure. So
I doubt, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like go to a park. Like it's okay that we see like these stories of people just sitting in a park. We're like, who actually does that?
Yeah.
Go find one. Go find a walking track. Go find a park. There's actually a park in my neighborhood with exercise equipment.
Yeah.
You know what? Go get a quick lift in, work on those muscles, work on your gains, as J.E. used to say, and then sit there and have a snack or some Scooby snacks.
Yeah, I do enjoy that. So we have a park like that too, with like these little body weight little exercise machines, and so we go do that every once in a while. So I enjoy that. So this next one, if you enjoy pampering yourself and
I do
yourself, then this one might be for you. Maybe schedule a kind of a spa day at home, a mani-pedi day, where you just gather all the supplies. You probably have everything laying around your house: some nail polish, some files, some lotions. Give yourself some manicures, some pedicures, and just treat each other well for a day. So,
and that's not even just for the ladies. Like sometimes I go get pedicures and they get this cheese grater out, and then they put it on the bottom of my foot, and it kind of is like Parmesan sprinkling off when you're getting some pasta. And so just ask your parents for their cheese grater.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoy that too. Me and my wife go do that every once in a while, and it is not just for the ladies.
Just kidding. We don't recommend you using a cheese grater. They're not made the same. Well, I just thought I should throw that out there.
Yes,
just in case someone does it.
Yeah, I assumed people knew, but I'm glad you put that the warning there. So
I don't know if we have the technology, but disclaimer. Don't use a cheese grater on your foot.
Yeah, we don't have that technology. It doesn't exist yet, but maybe someday. So, all right, number one, our last thing to do for free whenever you are on spring break is go out in the backyard and have yourself a nice family camp out. So if you have a tent, go throw that up in the backyard and just sleep out under the stars for a night. If you have a trampoline, I love spending the night on a trampoline with my kids every once in a while, and it's just a great way to be with each other, to talk and get away from the screens and just have a great time. So do it. Go. You'll thank us for it. So.
Sweet. And so I've got one little closing remark, and then we'll kind of sign us off.
Okay.
Hey, J.E.
Yeah.
What do you call someone who is addicted to buying cars?
What do you call someone who is addicted to buying cars? A car addict.
Someone who has a car owner virus.
Oh my goodness.
Do you get it?
I do get it. Did you actually just come up with that yourself right here?
No, I stole it.
Yeah, and it was still that bad. So interesting.
Why do you hurt me?
Because I love you.
People, at least one person's going to watch this, and it's going to hurt my feelings when they say something to me about it.
I know. So I guess as we sign off, we should say hello to our 2 viewers. Hi, Mom. Yep. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. And I'll call you Saturday and say hi. So
I'll just wait for you to call me.
Call your mom, Rhett. Thanks for tuning in. That's season 2, episode 2.
Season 2
of Barnabas. Thanks for being a part of it. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Barnabas Sons of Thunder. We really hope that you found this episode entertaining and encouraging. We really do appreciate all of you who decided to tune in and spend a few minutes with us. If you you'd like more, you can find us on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify.